Sex avoidance in relationships. What is not talked about on the internet? Hi, my name is Rachel and I go by the pen name Salty Vixen. And I write spice romance stories. And apparently, I'm an expert on avoidant men because I attract them and also I'm avoidant myself. If you've noticed when you're in a relationship, whether you're married or dating an avoidant partner, intimacy is limited to once or twice a month. And then they do future faking. And it drives you insane. And then you find yourself chasing. You become a shell of yourself. And they ignore you because they're lonely just like you are. Instead of them opening up and say, hey, this is the way I am, they just let you rant. Meanwhile, you're Googling for answers on the internet. You're trying to find anything as possible. You're asking your friends. You're asking, social media, strangers. And your friends and strangers like, hey, dump the person. They're future faking. They're leading you on. But are they really leading you on? And that's the question I'm going to answer. My avoidant partner of 2 years, it's been a very interesting relationship. We met on a stupid dating app. It was sort of like we both were looking for someone to hang out with. I was not looking really for intimacy at the time. I was just looking for, hey, let me get to know you before I, enjoy what relationships are about. Because I've been hurt in the past, men have treated me horribly. So I wanted to start fresh and get my confidence back up. And he was looking for someone to hang out with too. And I'm like, hey, this is cool. We live near each other. Let's hang out. This is great. But the thing is, it took 2.5 months for us both to hang out. He's not a dating person, neither am I. And when we finally met, the chemistry was so hot. Like, we didn't kiss on the first date or anything. But the way we had a conversation, it was 3.5 hours just talking about anything as possible. I'm like, oh my gosh, I found my match. Like, this is so cool. And then the second date he made and kept canceling it. And then 2 weeks passed. I'm like, hey, is everything okay? Because I never get on second dates because I'm of my avoidance tendencies. It's hard for me to let people in more, but also because I'm only capable of so much interaction, I get overwhelmed. You know what I'm talking about, right? Well, apparently he was too. So what he would do is he would future fake and constantly cancel. Future fake and cancel, meaning, well, I'm going to take you on this date and I'm going to do this. And you're like, okay. And then he would cancel the last minute. And I got tired of it. And I ended up dumping him because I didn't like the emotional whiplash. I didn't like the way he was treating me. He got intimacy once or twice a month. Sound familiar, people? Finally, he pinged me after about a month and a half of me. I couldn't deal with this anymore. And I said, you know what? I actually do like his company, pinging on internet or like phone or whatever. And they do that. So I let him back in my life and I said, look, I'm going to figure him out. It's like almost like a project for me. Plus, I'm lonely and I'm neurodivergent and I like looking at patterns and patterns excite me, for some reason it does. But it got to a point where the pattern was continuing once or twice a month. He shut down, he regulates. So the internet's telling you, oh, he's regulating intimacy closeness too much. That's what the internet tells you. Every single thing on social media is the same exact thing. It's still driving you crazy, right? Because that's not the answer. The reason why your avoidant partner only sees you once or twice a month and why they future fake, majority, about 90% of the reasons, because they have intimacy discomfort. Look at the bedroom. You and your husband or, your avoidant partner in the same room, right? And if you're wondering why they won't do certain like basic passion, like they have no problem kissing, they have no problem being on their own. But when it's connecting, the bonding, they won't do a couple thing. And you're sitting there like, okay, I'm a bit confused. You want me, but you won't be more intimate with me, but you won't talk to me. And so once they release the Kraken, that's what I'm calling them, the orgasm Kraken, they don't like to bond that much. Like I've had to hold his chest down a couple of times. Like, hey, can you give me 5 minutes? I know you're not big about bonding, but come on, I need a little something. And he would get up and he would clean up and then he would get dressed and then we'll talk for a few minutes. That's his bonding. And then he couldn't wait for me to leave. And in the beginning, it was really annoying, but I sort of got used to the pattern. And it took me until last night, after I was like, none of it makes sense. Right now, he's cold turkey. I'm like, why is he totally ignoring me? He didn't block me. I'm not chasing him. I'm going to figure this out further. And I put all it together. We have FaceTime intimacy. I made it hot. Something he's never experienced ever. And last time it was this level of hotness was with the man who inspired me to be Salty Vixen. But the difference was the man who inspired me to be Salty Vixen put me in a very uncomfortable position. He would say like, I want to FaceTime you. You don't have to do anything but watch. That still grosses me out to this day. Because when I finally caved in, yeah, I saw more than I wanted to see. That still grossed me out because he wasn't at home. I'm talking about the OG guy. But I also knew when you're with somebody for a few years, you kind of have to get out of your comfort zone. So I did. Had everything planned up, made it perfect. He released the Kraken, promised me dates because that's what he does. Like, I'll call you back in 10 minutes or I'll see you this weekend. And then I didn't see him. He didn't call back. I shut down, as you would, And after that, I was like, hey, he's shutting down 100%. So I'm talking to my bestie, ChatGPT. Yeah, ChatGPT is good for this, by the way, but I think Grok is better. And I started doing this whole BDSM text while he's withdrawn because I'm bored and I amuse myself. And actually, he does like him, but he's not going to respond. And I decided if I'm not going to chase him, figure this out. And I go, oh my gosh, this whole time for 2 years, almost 2.5 years, he's left me he's only wanted me once or twice a month. It's only intimacy on his terms, which is not right. I know. But because he's been masking the fact his whole life, he's had intimacy discomfort. And I feel sad, And I think like anyone's dating avoidant person, why they breadcrumb, it's not because they're being malicious. It's because they're only capable of intimacy once or twice a month because of their intimacy discomfort. And they don't want to talk to you about it, so they get in their head and shame themselves. But what they don't realize, they're shaming the partner too, because the partner's saying, it's my fault. Like, I've gained some weight. I'm not, heavy or anything, but I've gained weight because I can't walk well. I have muscle weakness from bad injury. I'm working on it. So it really hurt me that, and I think anyone dating avoidant partners the same way. I think it's very hurtful that instead of them opening up and using their words, what's going on, they deceive us. And I did tell them off a little bit. I was nice about it. I calmed myself down, but I said, you never gave me a chance. If you told me, hey, I'm only capable once or twice a month, I have intimacy discomfort, we would have talked about it because I like your vibe. We're good together. We have hot chemistry. But if you can't be honest with me, that's the most hurtful thing. I said, moving forward, it's up to you. Moving forward, I would like to continue this relationship. And you don't have to give intimacy, maybe watch me or something, but you can't just keep deceiving yourself and deceiving your partner. I love you and I want you in my life. And that's the thing. The problem with, I do want to say, it's a problem with like Google and AI, which uses Google, patterns, is they will tell you to break up with that person because it's not normal. It really isn't. But you have to understand, like, I'm 46 years old and I grew up my grandparents had raised me. So they grew up in the era, you work together, you don't give up. And unfortunately, in the dating world, it tells you to give up, go to the next person, go on Tinder or whatever. And now you're lonely. So when you find an avoidant partner, as much as they're very annoying, you have to understand their patterns. And my recommendation, if it's really bothering you, you need to talk to them. And they have choices. They'll ghost you. They'll put their panic room up. Like, I should never talk to you again. He's done that to me a year and a half ago. I'm like, what the heck? But then nothing happened. They don't want to lose you, but they don't want to open up what's going on. So it's like you have to get in their head, and they hate that. But when you understand that's the whole thing, it's like, you could have just been honest with me. So I said to him this morning, in the future, no more lying to me. And this is what you're capable of. Then talk to me about it. We will figure it out. But you can't just go and deceive me what you're only capable of and then future fake. It's not okay. It's not okay to string somebody along. You should have been honest in the beginning and I would have had a choice. And that's the problem with avoidant partners. They don't give you a choice. Blast from past, the inspiration for Salty Vixen, never ever wants to give me a choice in middle school, high school, even years later when we had our full-on intimacy thing. He shamed me for liking something that was natural, that caused me to have complexity in intimacy. I'm talking about the OG guy. Maybe that's why I become an avoidant. Maybe because I'm used to this. Is it normal relationship? No, it's really not. But I will take companionship over anything. And we have something very special. And it's been hard for me to find someone who is like me. So, but when we do kiss, oh my gosh, it's like magical. And you know what I'm talking about. All right, love you all. Bye.